everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Real Results with Coach Joe. I'm your host, Coach Joe Villegas. And with me today, I have a very special guest. I have my dear friend, Jeff Wickersham. Jeff, how are we doing today?
Oh, I am fantastic. Ready to have a great discussion.
Dude, I'm pumped to have you here. I'm like so psyched. So for those of you, the uninitiated, Jeff is the author of this awesome book right here, Rise, Fight, Love, Repeat. He's also the founder of Morning Fire Coaching, and as if you didn't have enough to do during your day, you're also the host of the Your Hidden Edge podcast.
That is correct.
You got a lot going on. I got a busy schedule, dude.
I do.
You got a lot going on for sure.
Yeah.
So, Jeff, you're a peak performance coach. You're a mental toughness coach. You work with folks all over the world, highs and lows. You've been there. I want to hear your story. I want to share your story with folks. How'd you get into coaching? I want to hear it.
It started with pain in my life, right?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, and I'm wearing the pink wristband to kind of remind me of that.
Yes.
I lost my mom to breast cancer a little over 8 years ago. And when you watch the woman that brought you into this world leave this world, that fragility of life smacks you upside the head with a 2x4.
Yes.
So I was in corporate America and just tried to process that deep searing pain of loss, that void that never gets filled again. And I decided that I only get one trip around the sun.
That's right.
What am I truly passionate about? I was passionate about fitness. I opened up a gym locally in between kind of a CrossFit box and the YMCA. Mm-hmm. And then what organically grew out of that was peak performance coaching, because we don't have a shortage of gyms in the States yet.
For sure.
But 75% of people are obese, overweight.
Yes.
And I kept having this reoccurring theme where people would fill out a questionnaire. They wouldn't return my phone call, my text, my email, and I was a frustration. I said, it's the battle you face, Joe, I face, we all face. That's 6 inches in between our ears.
Yes.
So that's where I started going down that personal development rabbit hole.
It's so funny, because I feel like a lot of coaches come to that same conclusion. I had the same with me, where I would work with folks and I would get them so far, or they get themselves so far, and then you start to realize, like, it's not the workout program, it's not the diet they're on, it's between the ears. Yep. And if you can start to help them with that mental battle, they can make bigger leaps. And that's why we actually made a whole shift with Paragon. It's all habit-based coaching now. Mm-hmm. So you work out the way you want to work out, you eat the way you want to eat, as long as we're being healthy, and we'll help you to maintain the consistency of that. So talk to me a little bit about that evolution. So you kind of moved more into the helping people fight that mental battle. Like, where'd you start with that? Like, how'd you even get people up and running with that?
Number one, I started with myself.
That's right.
Like,
yes.
I feel like that is so important in the process. You got to fix yourself first.
Yes.
Before you fix anybody else. And I'm the dad of 2 sons. Jackson's 14, Carter's 12. This journey started about 7 years ago. Mm-hmm. As a dad, I said I need to fix myself to lead the way for them.
Yes. And
so many times, especially for men and dads, there's vices, there's kryptonites out there that just knock us off track. So I started working on myself, and I started to do things differently than I had done for my entire adult life.
For sure.
So to see a glimmer of hope, of possibility, and it's almost like just cracking a little piece off, and you see the gold underneath of yourself.
Yes.
Of your potential.
Yes.
Then it's a never-ending quest to, hey, can I get a little bit better
exactly
than I was yesterday? So once I started that, I knew I had something.
Right.
Went out to my gym community, said, hey, I'm going to try this program. Would you get in?
Yep.
No charge. I just want to see if it works for you like it's worked for me.
Yes.
They got fantastic results, and then it kind of snowballed after that.
Rest is history, as they say.
Correct.
So it's interesting that you brought up kind of the personal development route, because I too am on that journey and love it for sure. And we were joking before the show, kind of when you unplug from the matrix, so to speak, and you can start to see a lot more around you, right? One of my favorite quotes by Dr. Wayne Dyer, right, is when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change.
Yes.
And so as we go through this journey, the world starts to look a little bit different, and we can then distill that down as coaches and translate that to our clients, other people. So one of the things that attracted me a lot to your coaching, and we've had so many interesting conversations, just kind of in the immediate, is you focus a lot on working with dads. Mm-hmm. And I myself am a new dad. My son just hit 4 months a couple days ago. And I was very excited to have this conversation with you, because I want to get coached on this episode, just like I'm sure the viewers do. So let's just get right into it. Mm-hmm. So dads today, like, what are some of the things that you find that dads are facing at any level, at any stage? Like I said, I'm very new on the journey. I got a lot to learn as far as being a dad's concerned. But for someone starting like me, someone who may have someone who's a kid who's 5, 6, teenagers, even grown adults as their kids, like what are you seeing out there today?
Well, number one, if you don't fix yourself,
Yes.
if you don't stop that chain that may have been passed down legacy after legacy, generation after generation,
Right.
it's going to repeat.
Yes.
And that can be a very eye-opener for dads, leaders of their family, that maybe they suffered.
Right.
If they don't fix it, their kids, their sons, their daughters are going to suffer the same. So that's number one. Number two is there's just so many kryptonites out there.
Right. And you say kryptonite. So walk us through, like, for those of us who don't know the lingo.
Yep.
Walk us through kryptonite.
So kryptonite, Superman,
Yep.
so powerful. One thing could stop him, kryptonite.
That's right.
There's kryptonite dust everywhere. It doesn't happen right now, but it slowly erodes on your confidence,
Yes.
your courage, your discipline, all those things. It could be alcohol.
That's a big one. for
Big
sure.
one. 2022, I decided I wasn't having any
You
alcohol.
just cut it off.
I cut it off.
Yeah.
I had played around with that for a while, but I said, you know what? It's time to level up. I've got a 13 and 11-year-old son.
Yes.
What better example to set for them to say, you know what? 90% of people drink.
Right.
I'm on a mission. It doesn't serve me.
Right.
I'm not doing it.
It's not congruent with your goals.
Not congruent. Doubled down on that this year, and I talked to him about it.
Fantastic.
People don't understand that your cells regenerate every 6 to 9 months.
That's right.
My cells had gone 28 years without alcohol in them.
Yes.
20s and 30s, I was partying on the weekends.
Sure.
It was, and I think that's so common out there. So that's one. Porn is another.
Yeah.
I mean, I say that is the gateway into self-destruction.
Totally.
Because you're actually wiring your mind with a dopamine pleasure,
Yeah.
and it's something that's shameful, and you kind of feel, icky afterwards about it.
Yeah.
But then you wire your mind to seek those things out.
Right,
so
right.
it's crazy how these things can just can
downward
cripple you.
spiral, this whole thing.
It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah,
And it's just so commonplace, like alcohol 90%.
Right.
Porn, you can get it on your phone everywhere, whenever you want.
Right. And people just joke about it all the time. Like, it's no big deal. But they're not seeing the effects short or long term, and long term obviously more devastating than in the short term. So are there other kryptonites out there that you find are kind of commonplace amongst dads specifically?
One that is so important is our language.
Yes.
How we speak, how we
Yes.
put it out into the universe is so incredibly important. And I've been guiding my sons in that because I've struggled with it.
Yes.
Right? The best thing to do is fix yourself, go through that hero's
Right.
journey,
Yeah.
come back, and then teach and guide others. And what greater gift can I give my sons than saying, hey, rather than I can't do this,
Right.
say you haven't done it yet,
Yes.
or should, maybe, try, eliminating those words, because those are words of doubt.
Yep.
Versus I am going to do
Yes,
this. Like you can
yes.
just feel it in my energy.
Oh yeah,
coming
100%.
across, right?
I feel it now. I'm getting like goosebumps.
And that's dads, kids, everybody. Language
Yes.
is just so important, and we're so automatic in how we speak
Right.
that we're not aware of. Wait, we're stopping ourselves before we even got started, because
shooting yourself in the foot.
the mind is always listening.
Yes. So
Yep.
so I want to bring this up because we talked about it before the show. So I wish cameras were rolling earlier, but they weren't. But we talked about briefly kind of like your subconscious mind, right? So the 95% that's going on that you're not paying attention to, but kind of runs your life for you basically. Right. It does not hear, quote unquote, exactly what you say. So which might sound kind of weird. So can you talk about that a little bit in terms of how your language is affecting your subconscious and how your subconscious interprets that language?
Yes. So I like to say the subconscious mind is a NASA supercomputer.
Yeah.
Right. It's processing so many things. It's
Right.
making sure that it is consistent with what you're speaking out
Yes.
into the universe.
Your identity, right?
It's blocking out so many things. There's no way we'd be able to process all that comes
Right.
in our listening, seeing, all those things. So when you say things, and so many times we know what we don't want,
Right.
but we don't know what we want.
Yes.
So we say what we don't want. Well, the mind, the subconscious mind, that supercomputer,
Yeah.
doesn't hear you negate what you don't want.
Right.
So if you say, I don't want to be fat, the subconscious mind does not hear the don't, so it says he wants to be fat.
Yep.
And the mind will drive you to be consistent with that, and that's why so many people struggle. And it's amazing when you think about that.
It really
because
is.
We're so clear on what we don't want, not what we want,
Right.
and you are crippling your growth by saying that. So that's just such an eye opener for people.
And I love that we brought it up and we're talking about it, because a couple episodes ago I was speaking with, I believe it was Ryan, who's my guest here, and kind of the evolution that we like to take clients through at Paragon. It's like a 3-step thing, and the ultimate arrival for them is creating an empowering identity. And a lot of it begins with your language.
Yes.
So rather than saying, oh, I'm unhealthy and I need to do this, it's no, I am healthy. I'm not fat, I am healthy. And if you identify as that, you're more likely to make decisions that are congruent with that identity and put you on the path to success. So this is all great, obviously. Let's get back to dads.
Okay.
Let's talk dad talk. So we got through some of the kryptonites. We understand what's out there all around us that we could just trip over at any given moment. It might take us off the path. Where do you start with, like, let's say a dad like myself? I'm a new dad. I come to you. I say, Jeff, man, like I want to do the best I can for my son Everett. Like, where do we begin?
Begin small, right?
Yes.
Start small. I like to say, whenever you're building any kind of habit or lifestyle changes, you want to make it so small, so easy that it's almost laughable.
Yes.
Because then you're going to set yourself up for long-term success. When you try and do too much, too quickly, and we talked about the matrix a little bit, like so many people they want 6-pack abs in 6 minutes. Just not going to happen.
Sorry, John Bastow. Not happening.
It's not happening.
Yeah, no way.
So you start small, you start with something easy, almost laughable, you do it, you celebrate it a little bit, then you do it again and again, and you add on.
Positive reinforcement.
Positive reinforcement.
Okay.
So, with dads leading the family, obviously you got to lead yourself first.
Yes.
I always say it starts with the physical.
Yep.
Right? If there's a pyramid, physical, mental, career, business.
Yep.
Physical is always where you need to start.
And that's where you start with all clients.
All clients.
Okay.
If you don't get your energy right,
Yep.
and you talked about identity a little bit, like I define myself every morning in 3 areas.
Yes.
Energy, work, and love.
Love it.
Energy, world-class athlete.
Yes.
So what happens every morning?
Train.
I train,
Yeah.
regardless of how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
And we've been led to believe as we were younger, like, how do you feel? Mom or dad said, how do you feel?
Yeah.
I don't feel that good. Well, take a day off.
Right.
Well, then we wouldn't take action. And what happens to your identity? Spirals down. I like to flip it the other way. Identity first.
Yes.
World-class athlete. Love. Dad and husband of the year. I show up that way.
Winning every year.
Winning today.
Yes.
But that's my vision.
Yes.
And I like to say, when you define your identity, you're future pacing your success.
Yes.
Fake it till you make it. That sounds false. You kind of feel like a fraud. No, future pace your success. Who do you want to show up as today?
Start with the end in mind.
Start with the end in mind. So physical, just move the body.
Yes.
Move the body. It doesn't have to be 150 burpees.
No.
It can go for a two-minute walk, and all of a sudden you're going to start feeling better.
Right.
You change your physiology,
Yes.
the mental side's a little bit better, and you can show up better for your family. So always physical, like the dad bod whole thing drives me bonkers.
Yeah, I'm with you.
You need to be in shape.
Yes.
You need to be the tip of the spear for your family.
100%.
And you need to live by example. First way.
You need to be the example and the invitation for your kids. So let's take a quick pause there, because I want to continue up the pyramid with you as we go through this, and we will continue with Coach Jeff after this word from our sponsors.
Hi, I'm Bob Hochgertel from Kings Road Brewing Company. I'm here to tell you about a brand new show on RVN television called Cooking with the King. Each week, we're going to taste and sample some of the best beers the Kings Road Brewing Company has to offer. And we're going to talk to area chefs and restaurant owners as we pair our beer with their signature dishes. We're going to teach you how to cook and eat like a king. Cheers.
A stroke can be easy to detect. A loved one can't speak, perhaps they can't move. But there's another sign of a stroke that many of us can't see. It's called spatial neglect, and it can occur during or after a stroke, causing distorted visual movements. Fortunately, there's a solution by using optical prism technology during rehabilitation. If you or a loved one have experienced a stroke, ask your doctor about spatial neglect. Spatial neglect. See the whole picture at KesslerFoundation.org.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Real Results. I'm your host, Coach Joe Villegas, and I'm here with Peak Performance Coach Jeff Wickersham, and if you missed the first part, I'm sorry, you got to rewind and go back and watch it because we were just getting into some juicy stuff. So jumping right back in, Jeff, we were talking about where dads today can start to be the example and invitation to lead their families. And you said we always begin with the physical, begin with the body, start training right away. So what I want to do is let's dive back into that a little bit if we could, and let's just start first thing in the morning. What do we do? Do we meditate? Do we yoga? What do we do?
First thing in the morning,
yes.
Love a full glass of water.
Yeah,
longest
hydrate.
day we go,
Yep.
longest part of our day that we go without water is while we're sleeping.
Sleeping.
Mine's anywhere from 73 to 80% water.
Yep.
Rehydrate the system, you're going to start to wake up, feel good. Exercise, move the body.
Yes.
Doesn't have to be totally intense, crazy.
Yeah. You go beast mode or anything like that.
Just move. I love throwing on the Rocky music and doing
Yeah,
some
why
push-ups,
not?
sit-ups,
For
and air
sure.
squats.
No doubt.
And I love breathing,
Yes.
right? Just being quiet and just focusing on your breath. So many times we're busy. We're running.
Right.
It's so important to do that. But I will say on the physical side,
Yeah.
when you lead, exercising, setting the example,
Yep.
your kids will follow. I mean, I was a CrossFitter back when my boys were really young. They saw me compete.
Yep.
I remember coming back from the beach, and my oldest, Jackson, was 5.
Yeah.
And I came down the basement, and he put in a P90X video, and he's working out. And I said, "What are you doing?" He said,
What?
"I haven't worked out in a week, Dad." So when they see it,
Yes.
and I talk to dads, I've coached sports for 20 plus years, and they're like, why doesn't my son like to work out? When was the last time you were in the gym?
Yeah.
Right? They see it. and
Tough
then
answer, but it's obvious.
It is obvious.
Yeah.
The more you do that stuff and lead by example, the more your children will follow.
100%. So I want to take another step back. So we said, hey, work on breathing. There may be some fellows out there that might think that's a little kind of woo-woo or whatever. What do you do that I know, because I know your morning routine leaves you feeling so empowered. I have a morning routine that leaves me feeling so empowered, and it does involve some meditation, some breath work. So where could us guys start with that stuff, but still kind of feel like, hey, we're on the dad journey here?
Yep. Very easy. And back to that simple,
Yes,
easy,
yes.
almost laughable. Take 3 breaths.
Okay.
In through the nose, 6 count in,
Okay.
2 second hold, 7 seconds out. And you're counting when you do it. Because when you're counting,
Yep.
the mind can't wander to something else.
Yes.
You could do 3 breaths like that, 45 seconds. You're meditating.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a win.
Yeah.
Right? So don't overcomplicate it.
Yep.
Do that. No, it's not going to be perfect. I mean, I've meditated now over 5 straight years, 10 minutes every morning.
Yep.
My mind still wanders.
Totally.
It's just the process of doing it. And that 3 rounds of 6-2-7, you can do that throughout your day, and it's a great centering exercise,
easy.
especially if you feel like you're just losing your cool or you just
Between
want to
meetings or
Yeah, want to
something.
reset. It's
Yeah.
amazingly powerful, these small little things that we can do that set you up for success in
For
life.
sure.
Yep.
So I love that, because you hear a lot about mindfulness and being present and whatever. And I heard, I think it was a quote from Michael Beckwith. He talked about how you can't breathe in the past and you can't breathe in the future. You can only breathe right now. So by focusing on your breath, you automatically become present because you're focusing on the now,
Right.
which is so important. So okay, so we got up, we had some water, we trained, did some breath work, meditated, whatever fits the fancy of these dads. What's next? How do we continue the day, continue the journey?
You got me almost choked up.
Oh, man.
My mom used to leave Post-it notes for me.
Get out.
Before game, lunchbox, probably had every color of Post-it note known to man, right?
Keep it in business.
Yeah. I write my sons a note every day.
I love
Put it
that.
in an envelope, put it outside their door,
Love that.
because what greater way to show how much I care and love them? And some days it's, hey, good luck in a game.
Yeah.
Other days it's a personal development, little nugget of wisdom that I can give them. My youngest son, his door is peppered with them.
Dude,
my
you're
older
choking me
son-
up right now. Oh my gosh.
My older son has shoe boxes full of them.
Wow.
What a gift I can give them.
Yeah.
The pain and the effort I went through to better myself. Now
Right.
I can equip them with tools and strategies.
Yes.
And I just had this conversation with my oldest. He said, "I'm not like you. I'm not like Superman." I said, "No, you're better than me.
Yeah.
And you're going to be leaps and bounds better than me."
Yes.
So love to connect that way
Yes.
from a love, portion, gratitude journal, write down what I'm thankful for.
Love that.
Then I read a little passage of the Bible, and I
Yes.
get those 6-7 wins in, and I can get them in 15 minutes.
I was gonna say it's
10
a
minutes.
quick.
I say you
quick
give me 1% of your day, which is 14 minutes 40 seconds.
Right, who's
You
counting?
stack these wins.
Yeah.
you will be, it's like jet fuel in your veins.
Totally,
Yeah.
totally. And it's funny because the compounding effect of that is exponential. It's not, it's not linear,
Yep.
right? It's the effect over time is, hey, I'm a different person. I'm a different trajectory. I might be in a different career because of this. Like, who even knows? So I think that's tremendous. So that's the physical. This is the base of your pyramid. What's next? Take us up the ladder again.
Next is mental.
Mental.
And we always think it's only us that are battling the demons, the dragons, whatever it might.
Right.
We could throw a baseball out this door and hit 10 other people that are facing very similar things.
Yes,
So
yes.
that's number one. It's not you.
Yeah.
It's just the human condition. It's the human journey.
Totally.
Meditation is so key in calming that mind down.
Yes.
Gratitude journaling as well, from a mental perspective. You're writing down what you're grateful for.
Yes.
It's amazingly powerful. We talked about this, how the subconscious supercomputer is always listening.
Yes.
When you write something down that you're grateful for, all of a sudden it finds more things to be grateful for in your life, right? And it's just so incredibly powerful to do that.
Right.
I pay my sons every week to gratitude journal.
I wish
to
I would get
meditate.
paid to gratitude journal.
Right, because
Yeah.
the best gift I can give them is to say, when you invest in yourself, you said the compound effect.
Yes.
It is going to just continue to level up, layer up. So the mental side it's difficult.
Yeah.
It's a battle.
No doubt.
It's a never-ending battle.
Never-ending.
I always say the mind never sleeps.
Nope.
Never has to go to the bathroom. Never eats.
To recharge it.
No,
yeah.
it's always there.
Yes.
And understanding that, sometimes you can give yourself some grace. You can have some peace with it. That,
sure.
hey, I'm just a human being.
Right.
But how am I going to get a little bit better,
Yeah.
right? So that mental side is critical.
Tolerance is important. But at the same time, like you said earlier, we don't want to give in to our feelings of, hey, I don't feel like it today. That doesn't count. It doesn't matter because we're stacking. We're building this castle, this foundation. So I love that. I think that's amazing. So that's our mental side of it, and then take us up.
Then work, career.
Yeah.
What do you want to attack? We talked about, hey, how the subconscious mind doesn't hear, I don't want this.
Yes.
Actually define what is the target? What is
do
the
you want?
mission?
Right.
I love saying missions because
Yes.
missions are must. Goals are kind of out there floating around.
Yeah.
Mission, I'm like an elite military unit, like
Yep.
on the attack.
Right.
That's so much more empowering when you say, hey, this is my mission for the week.
Yes.
But set targets, set those missions, and then
Yes.
chase after them, right?
100%.
As if your hair's on fire and
Yeah,
you're sprinting
you
towards the
gotta
lake.
move, man.
Obviously, I don't, but
You gotta-
maybe my beard.
I'm catching up to you a little bit up here. It's a little
There you go. But playing all out, right?
Yeah.
You only get one trip around the sun.
Yeah.
Today,
Yeah.
us here,
Yeah.
so grateful, so honored to be here
Dude, me
because
too.
this is an experience that we're in the present moment. It's
Right.
so powerful. So, setting targets, setting missions, chasing those, and being relentless with it.
Yes.
And that's why energy is so important. That's why it's the physical. When you're got that energy level up,
Yeah.
you can chase those big dreams,
anything.
those missions. You can do anything. And it's so important.
Yeah, so two pieces there. One is, we kind of sort of loosely touched on it, is like almost like goal setting, which I feel like kind of gets not like a bad rep, but it's sort of like, oh, goal setting, whatever. But it's so fundamental to getting to where you want to go. Like you have to have, you say missions, I say like definite chief aims.
Okay.
Like you got to know exactly what that thing is because the mind's like a compass. It can only point in one direction. So when we talk about the physical, you have to point toward that training. You can't point anywhere else. You're not going to achieve what you want. The mental side, you got to point toward what you're focused on. That's hopefully positive and constructive, et cetera.
Yep.
And then for goal, career, what have you, you got to point it and have that definite chief aim. So Jeff, we're coming toward the end.
Okay.
I want to make sure we're imparting the best we can. We've been going up this ladder, or this pyramid rather, and there's a lot of great nuggets in here. What else would you like to share with the viewers that you think, especially dads, that could be something critical to their success in leading their family?
Love it. Perfect question. We talked about how to stack wins in the morning.
Yes.
You need to prepare the night before.
Love that.
So you got to have things ready. And I tell people, like that glass of water
Yep.
needs to be out, ready to go. And people are like, that's ridiculous. I said, okay, let me take you through this scenario.
Yeah.
You come downstairs, you open up the cabinet, there's no clean cups. That's the first opportunity for your mind to say, you know what, Joe, this is too hard.
Yep.
Go back to
Back
bed.
to bed.
You
Yep.
go to check the dishwasher if you're blessed to have one. Well, your wife or spouse didn't push it in all the way. opportunity number 2. So
Yeah.
have everything out and ready. Like
Yep.
I have my glass of water ready, my clothes are right on top of my phone, my gratitude journal, my notes, the Bible's all right there.
Yeah.
So I'm stacking and getting these wins, and then you're off and running. So you need to prepare the night before.
So you set yourself up to win.
Correct.
So that's something I do. I actually look at the next day and say, okay, here's my full day. And actually, truth be told, I stopped going to a gym. I put a gym in my basement so that there was no excuse. It's like, dude, you don't have to drive anywhere. You just walk downstairs and there it is. So this is all fantastic. And I know that the dads out there watching are going to get a lot out of this. So Jeff, where can people find you?
Yeah, so they can go out to themorningfire.com. Got a ton of content out there. They can grab a 20-minute call with me if they want to just shoot the breeze, or they want direction, they want guidance. And
even the free download on the website's pretty badass.
Yeah,
so,
it is. Thank you. I know you had some help in that. I appreciate that. But here's the other thing I'll say. One conversation can change your life.
Yes.
One 20-minute call can change your life. And I had a guy who was expecting a child, battling alcohol, and he said, one conversation with you changed my life. So just know that.
Yes.
And don't be afraid.
Don't pass it
to
up.
ask for help.
Swing the
and
bat.
Pass it up. Yep.
100%. Anywhere else? Like, we're looking for Instagram, anywhere else?
Instagram, I'm out there, Jeff_Wickersham, put a ton of content. YouTube channel, Your Hidden Edge podcast is all out on all major podcast platforms.
Fantastic. Awesome. Well, get out there, check out Coach Jeff, and as always, you can go to resultswithjoe.com to get all the free content that you need as well to get your success. So with that, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Real Results, and we'll catch you on the next one.